afternoon, everybody. We're going to do a quick update with the upcoming pattern we've been talking about for a few days. Looking at the weekend here, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday for potential storm chances. I have a lot of questions I saw on the page this morning, as well as messages. Can I get an update? Said last night we're going to go live this evening, a little bit early, but I want to hop on here and get this covered before we got too late. So first and foremost, welcome to the stream. We're going to cover everything you guys need to know about the upcoming weekend here in detail here. So first and foremost, we're watching two systems that are going to develop out to our west in the plains. Are going to push up into our region here Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. All right, let's go ahead and move this forward. This is your temperature graph and also looking at systems and stuff like that as well. We're going to see the center of our first low pressure system develops off here into the west. We see it on Nebraska here. It's going to spread a warm front across the region here. We're going to be warm coming up in the next couple of days. We have one more day of cold weather to come through, and we're going to be warming back up. So this low pressure continues off to the east. It banks north. It brings warm air, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico to it. With it, should I say, brings it up into the area. Saturday is the first day to watch. We have a good thermal profile here. Temperature, moisture content looks good. We'll watch Saturday closely. Okay, but then the secondary low pressure takes off down here. Again, the plains, this is going to be for Sunday. We see the center of it over here in Iowa here. We see the nice warm sector off to the east and south of it. The warm front's draped across Michigan. Another warm day on tap. That's going to move up. And then by Monday, this cold front swings through. So we have 3 days, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We're going to be in potential warm sector. What that means is it's going to be moist. It should be warm. The combination of that creates some storm fuel. Okay. But that's not the only thing we're going to be looking at, though. Okay. When we overlap our wind shear with our instability, we have a composite here. We call it supercell composite. Now, people associate supercells with tornadoes. Not always. It's just going to be a measure, kind of like a tool we kind of use to communicate where risks could be. We overlap these together. We're going to run this through the time frame here on the GFS model. We're going to see out to our west here. Tomorrow, we have a risk out in the plains. Pretty good risk out there for tomorrow. Friday, that shifts over into Iowa, Missouri, and perhaps Western Illinois. And then Saturday is the day to watch. All right. We talk about these greens, yellows, oranges, reds. When we get into those yellow colors, that's what kind of catches our eye, right? We look at this closely here on Saturday. The risk that is currently being displayed is highest off to our west here. Okay. In Michigan, we have a good overlap here. It's showing up, but it's not much. Okay. But it catches our eye. That could shift, it could change, it could likely change. Again, this is just one model run. We do have some short-term models coming into frame here, the NAM model, although we don't like to utilize the NAM too often here, but we will use it for this just to kind of give you guys an idea of the first short-term model that's coming out here. This is for Saturday. We have these brighter colors off in Wisconsin, a bit quicker timing as well, because this timing right now is kind of slow, which kind of shifts that threat further to our west. So if this is a quicker system, it'll shift the better environment up into Michigan. So we have a little bit better coloration here, making it into Michigan here Saturday afternoon and evening here. So we'll watch Saturday closely. When you take an X-ray of the atmosphere, though, just in a random part of Michigan, the overall environment does look okay, but there are some things here that are catching my eye that would more so lean against severe weather. Number one being the lack of surface-based storm fuel or CAPE. But again, we have multiple days to get through here before we start looking at specifics. We're just kind of monitoring these trends here. The overall trend here is Saturday is the day one to watch. Going back here to the GFS model, Sunday is another day here as we have that warm sector, secondary low develops off to the west. We're going to be in the warm sector once again for Sunday. We're seeing that reflected here with a little bit weaker returns here on Sunday, but still South Michigan, perhaps a bit further north as well, getting in on this potential good environment for some storms, potentially severe. And then this front will move through Monday afternoon. Monday currently does not have our eye too much, but we do want to mention that threat is there on Monday to watch as well, given that cold front is still off displaced to our west. It'll push through the region, and that'll usher in a little bit cooler air mass, but nice weather after Monday into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So overall, pay attention Saturday, Sunday, Monday, particularly Saturday, maybe Sunday as well. Monday, not really as high as a concern right now. Saturday is the day I'm personally watching closely. We don't have exact timing, details, hazards, nothing like that. All I can really say is that there's two things I can say for sure. Right now, Judging by the models and the data at hand, the risk does look to be highest off to the west and north in Wisconsin. In fact, the SPC does have parts, I mean, literally 2 or 3 counties up in the UP nudging into a risk area for Saturday. This is a day 4 risk that extends back further south into Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, back through Kansas there as well. So we're not completely a huge population here in the risk, but we do have parts of the state already in a risk area here for Saturday. If this shifts around, it probably will shift. It could shift back further west. The NAM model says a little bit further east. It's going to be a battle to see what model is going to come out on top, how everything's going to align and stuff like that. But overall, we can give you one more thing to ponder here, and that's going to be the Ensemble model a combination. Basically, an ensemble is basically one model ran over and over 20, 30, 40, 50 times. So this is a model that's being ran 20 times, all members here. And this is basically a probability of how well wind shear overlaps with instability here. The brighter the color here, meaning yellows, orange, reds, whites, that's your higher. Blues and greens a bit lower, okay? Move this through Saturday here. This is going to be number 1. Saturday threat is going to be pretty much highest. We can see off here to our west here, Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, Missouri, back through Nebraska, or should I say Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas. But up here in Michigan, we have a little bit of an area here in western and northern Michigan of a little bit brighter composite here. So we'll watch. This is all the models coming together. So it gives us a little bit better idea of not just one model run, but maybe multiple here, giving us an idea of what to expect. So that's Saturday. Looking at Sunday and Monday as well. Sunday looks a little bit weaker, much weaker, should I say. Again, highest off here to our west. Not too big on the threat here on Sunday here, at least on this model. The ensemble run here. And then also here on Monday, we see that shifting more so further to the east. Not too big of a threat there as well, but it does bear some watching given that cold front is still hanging around. We're going to still be kind of warmish. We'll watch Monday closely, but overall here, we do have multiple models keying in on Saturday in particular, but watching Sunday and Monday as well as that environment is similar. It's just not, there are just some ingredients that are lacking on those days. So with that being said, I don't have exact details. You guys really, if you're going to ask about your locations, I really can't answer that right now. We're still nailing down these specifics. There looks to be a couple days here to watch. Saturday is the biggest one, in my opinion. There is a risk on Friday as well, but it's also displaced further off to the west. We do have a storm threat for the entire state on Friday, but no severe weather is expected with that. The risk will be well off to our west here across parts of southern Wisconsin there in western Illinois. So with that being said, that's all I have to share with you guys. We'll go live probably again tomorrow if this threat continues to look like it's going to be affecting the state. For sure, I would say Saturday's the day to watch. That's all I'm going to say at this point. Let's go ahead and pop out the chat here. What's up, Chris, Tracy, Judd, Lena, Tim, Robert, Monkey, Katrina, Kimberly, Tracy, Nathan, Kim, Lena again. Awesome, you guys. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I know it's a little bit early. Usually our streams are a bit later on in the evening, but I was feeling pretty good. If you guys don't know, I just had wisdom teeth surgery a couple days ago, so I felt best in the afternoon here to hop on here. I didn't want to risk it and wait till tonight and I start feeling blah. So I want to hop on here while I had a chance and get this out of the way. It'll be up on the page and the YouTube as well for your viewing pleasure later on, so people can hop on and watch whenever they feel the need to. So. What's up, Stephanie, Veronica, Joey, funny. Could South Michigan be in a threat? SPC updates. I think there's a good chance there. Probably a marginal risk at best, unless we have more confidence there. Right now, though, I would expect, because I'll point this out as well here. So the day 4 to day 8 time frame, the SPC puts only 15 and 30, which equivalents to a slight risk level 2 and an enhanced risk level 3. Okay. When we get to the day 1 to day 3 time frame, so day 1, 2, and 3, we get the marginal risk as well as general thunderstorm risk, which looks like this. So the dark green is your marginal risk, and then obviously your yellow is a slight risk. Then the lighter green is your general thunderstorms. We don't get that on day 4 out to day 8. All we get is a slight risk. So if this shifts, let's say further to the east here, excuse me, further to the east, let's go ahead and use our imaginations. Let's say the risk now shifts over here toward Milwaukee, Chicago, Aurora, Peoria, Champaign. That would likely shift the slight risk into western part of lower Michigan, but also a marginal risk will likely be issued around that slight risk, which will probably take up a good chunk of the state if I had to guess. Again, I don't make these outlooks. I'm just giving you an educated guess what could happen. Judging by what I'm seeing here, I would expect there to be at least some type of risk there for lower Michigan, particularly the west and probably northern halves up toward Gaylord, Sheboygan, probably north of Grand Rapids at the very best. That's a guess. Again, I can't really give you that official guidance that just comes from the SBC. I'm just kind of communicating what I feel in my educated opinion. No problem, Sean. Yeah, last night was definitely a interesting night for sure. But we're always watching, guys. We always got you guys covered. We are always here. Any other questions, guys? For those of you just tuning in, I would suggest going back and rewatching the first 7 to 8 minutes of this stream. It'll answer your guys' questions. Again, not going to get too specific here with these hazards, threats, timings. I do think there's a good risk, or at least a risk. I'm not going to say a decent or a good or a giant risk. There should be a risk on Saturday, given what I'm seeing right now on models. I have a Tigers game on Friday afternoon. It's supposed to rain. We can take a look at that actually. Let's go ahead and move over here to a convective model, the NAM3. Move it out here to Friday. Here's Friday. This is just an idea of the model here. What time is your afternoon? So here's 2 p.m. on Friday according to this model. It says you're dry there in Detroit, but there's rain off to the west moving in there. Here's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and probably by early to late evening. Look for rain to move in towards the Detroit area. How awful for Saturday with the NFL draft. Cindy, probably rain in the mornings, should clear out for the afternoon, then probably another round of shower storms, potentially strong storms. But again, that overall confidence is quite low at this point for especially further east there in Detroit. But I would expect a chance for rain in the morning and also the evening hours of Saturday. Yeah, Julie, I actually just noticed that looking at the model. That's where your severe risk is displaced off of Friday out there to the west there in Iowa. It looks like a pretty good bow echo out there. If we were to just hypothetically take a profile of the atmosphere out there, we're going to get probably a uh, really good sounding here, looking probably supportive of severe weather. But yeah, that's luckily not going to affect our state on Friday. Yeah, that's pretty good sounding. That's actually really good sounding. So yeah, that's your risk out there. If you guys have people out in these risks Friday, Saturday, we have there are multiple days here in the U.S. that are stacked up for severe weather. Like this pattern is relentless. If we were to go back here and just kind of highlight some of these U.S. risks really quickly, um, tomorrow out in the plains, it's an enhanced risk. Mentioning strong tornadoes out there in the plains. That's for tomorrow. And then we have Friday coming into focus here, a really big slight risk there. And then that's going to be something to watch there as well. And then as you get into Saturday, or should I say, no, yeah, that's just Friday. And then we get into the day 4 to day 8 time frame. We have this risk out in the plains again, all the way up into the UP of Michigan. And then again on Sunday. So we have like 4 or 5 days here back to back of severe weather chances in the US. Luckily, we're not in a risk yet, but likely going to be added to one here, probably Saturday or Sunday, if I had to guess. So, all right. Is Michigan still under a drought scenario? Honestly, I do not know. I can pull it up though. I believe last time I looked at this, we were looking at a low end drought. So, yeah, kind of, not really. There's parts of the region. Um, Here's Michigan. This is the drought monitor. So on your intensity here, yellow is lowest. Then we have like a little tan, orange, red. Looks like magenta there, kind of like a darker red there. So only the UP really isn't a decent drought. Some parts of the northern lower in an abnormally dry, very small area here in a moderate drought there. So not overly concerning at this point, especially in the lower peninsula. Up in the UP, their lack of snowfall this year really kind of cut down on that. So, but anyway, guys, I'm going to be hopping off here. So overall consensus, active pattern does look to continue. I still think Saturday is the high. Could see a risk develop on Sunday as well, although confidence in that is quite low. Monday, watch that as well, although confidence is even lower at that point. We'll have an update on the page. We do have the SPC day 3, which will give us your general thunder, your marginal risks, as well as potential hazards there as well. So by tomorrow morning, by the time we wake up, we'll have a good idea of where exactly this is going to be shifting. And also short-term models are just starting to come out for Saturday. So we're tuned into those for any potential shifts, changes, et cetera, et cetera. So overall general, pay attention Saturday, Sunday, potentially Monday as well. We'll have updates on the page. Live stream again probably tomorrow to update you guys if anything significant's changed. With that being said, though, I'm going to hop off here. Appreciate you guys watching. You guys have a nice night and enjoy the last couple of days of cooler weather before we warm up into the 70s starting on Friday.